The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Heard those bugles blow on Sunday.
Yes, we did.
To start the game with another great rendition of the national anthem, and then to end the game as well as the go team of the senior pros won again, or whatever it's called.
Senior pros.
The Victory Monday has begun. Bill Jones, Mickey Spagnola, and no Everson Walls today. Instead, we've got a 6-time Pro Bowler, Nate Newton, who's figuring out his headsets and going to join us here.
Yeah. What's up, fellas? Good. Wow, let's do this. I know I'm not as handsome as Everson, but I think my opinions are better.
He's coming with a lot of energy.
Yeah,
I could see it when he walked in the building.
Right.
Big old smile on his face.
That's right.
Yes.
Now, we should, in honor of Everson, Trayvon Diggs got his a pick, his third of the season.
Right.
20th of his career in
Yes.
35 games or something like that.
Yes.
I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. And there's only one in NFL history who had more picks in that number of games to start his career, and that one would be Everson Walls.
And
so
he's
shout
not
out
here to
Everson.
join
That's
us.
right. He's celebrating the fact he still holds that record.
He ought to buy that kid some presents or something. He keeps bringing
That's right. It gets his name
up, right?
mentioned every time that he gets a pick. So Nate, I saw you late last night on my television, your post-game show with Kyle Yeomans, and here you are, bright and early, noon on a Monday, and ready to go again.
Oh yeah, man, just loving it, man. And I knew we was gonna beat them. I didn't know how, but I went a little bit higher than I normally do. I don't normally go by 1 point, but I went by 3. So we really put a whooping on them yesterday. I feel good, Mick. You feel good?
Didn't give up a touchdoome.
Hold on, Bill. You asked me, did I feel good? I'm 5.
right.
I asked him, do he feel good? Yeah. Come on, man.
Bring up the energy
I got
level
more
there,
emotion
Mickey.
when Phillips was leaving.
I almost called him and said we needed a replacement here today.
Oh, Rob Phillips. I thought you were talking about Wade Phillips.
Yeah, no. Oh, wow. Blast for the pass. Wow.
Hey, a win is a win,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes, it is, sir.
Absolutely.
And by the way, over a Lions team that now has the worst record in football at 1-5.
Which is amazing because
Yes.
Because how did Carolina beat Tampa Bay?
right?
Wow.
Oh.
That's the most amazing thing.
P.J. Walker.
P.J. Walker over Tom Brady. How about that? And it was 21-3. There's trouble in paradise in Tampa, apparently.
Maybe in Green Bay, too.
And Green Bay also. We're going
Which
to be there in a few weeks.
Goes to show you, and I'll say it again, as Dak Prescott said it, a win is a win, no matter how it looked or how you got to it.
That's a great example right there. Tampa Bay, how are they feeling about their game against Carolina?
Yeah.
Well, it's not a victory Monday in Tampa.
That one the worst. Washington beaten.
Yeah, Washington beating Green Bay.
Yeah. Wow.
With a backup
East.
quarterback.
Yeah, the East is a beast. Predictions say we only supposed to have 1.5 winning teams in this division.
And supposed to have the easiest schedule in all of football, whatever, because they were rated so low last year. That's the only
Probably
reason.
would have had 4 victories yesterday if the Eagles hadn't been idle.
And you look ahead to the
But no, Coach Phillips said that's a win.
That's right. Speaking of Coach Phillips, that's right. And looking ahead to next week, Cowboys are playing Chicago, okay? And off the top of my head, Philadelphia's playing Pittsburgh next week.
Correct.
Washington's going to Indianapolis, and the Giants are playing Seattle. And so that's possible. 4 more wins for the NFC East.
I don't know. Seattle's winning.
I know, Seattle with Geno Smith.
They're leading the NFC West, by the way.
That is one constant. It's certain coaches I never turn on, and Pete Carroll is one of them. I've always admired him. The only mistake he ever made was not running that ball 4 times. But I would like to be on that stage to be able to make that mistake. But I'm telling you, I'll never turn on Coach Belichick, Coach Johnson, and Coach Landry. Those are my guys.
It's interesting you bring that up. It's probably a deeper conversation later because we need to dive into yesterday, although it relates to yesterday with Dak coming back. You look at Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson's career, and when Russell Wilson first came into the league and the emphasis on running the football, and they had a great defense. Okay, there's a parallel there with what this Cowboys team looks like right now, okay, with the defense that this team is playing. Well, you look at Russell Wilson's career, and you look at statistically his career. And so what he was doing as far as taking care of the ball and running that show in Seattle his first few years, and then it became an emphasis of getting his numbers, And he to his credit, he was able to throw 35 touchdown passes a year and so forth. To his credit, he got the big contract now or whatever. But their team wasn't as good once that happened. But Pete Carroll, he always has wanted to run the football first. He is a defensive-minded coach from the get-go. And so things started falling apart in Seattle there. I think what we're seeing here in Dallas is, and maybe what we get out of the Cooper Rush time as the quarterback of this team the last 5 games, it reemphasizes rely on this defense, run the football, take care of the football, and good things are going to happen.
Mick, it's your show. I want you to go first before I start this.
I'm going to say I like the fact that the defense plays the way it plays. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they are showing now that's 3 games in a row they've run for 100 yards. But I don't like the fact that you end 2 consecutive games with 3 points in the first half. The offense has got to get better. If the offense gets better, Jerry said it last week. He goes, this is great. The defense is playing. And then when the offense catches up, we're going to be a mess, meaning really good. So the offense has got to continue to improve. And there's not a lot of times you're going to get handed 5 turnovers to help your offense get to 24 points. You got to start doing some of this on your own. And that's 3 games out of 7 that they finished the first half with no more than 3 points. And a 4th, they had 6, no touchdowns. So they got to be better offensively, and then they can be a very dangerous team.
And what you said not only applies to Russell Wilson, it applied to a John Elway later in his career. It applied to a Peyton later in his career. Tom Brady has always played that way. It took the Rodgers his 1 year. See, this is what I tell people, and I argue on my show all the time. You have to throw to the ball to get down the field. You need one chunk play each series of 20 yards or more to get you where you need to be. But when you're out of balance, that means when your team get unsettled, you give up a sack, come back with a run. When you need a key first down in the open field, come with a run. When your quarterback is just a little bit shaky, come with a run. All it does is settles you down and give your defense a chance at the end to win the game. And that's all you guys are talking about. Dak, he said yesterday, those were confident builders. Dak, not the way we play now. Love you to death. Not the way we play now. We don't need confident builders because those 2 confident builders could have took us the other way. It didn't. I don't linger on that. I know he will learn from that. But the way you threw the ball after that was right. You know, you found your blanket. You found Schultz. Either Schultz found his blanket because he showed
the
back
tight
up.
ends.
Yes, but see that Coach McCarthy did two things that we hadn't seen around here in a long time, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. We down on the close to the goal line, about to score, fourth down. Oh, looks good, but not good enough. I'm finna play to my defense. Let's kick a field goal. I would like to see my defense
change his mind.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Oh, great, because he's saying in his mind, I would like. I would put my defense against your defense. No, let's just kick it. Because even my defense will crush you. Okay, right before the half, they caused the fumble. You said, was it right before the half?
Yep, Noah Brown's fumble. You're talking about the Noah Brown fumble?
Yeah, the Noah Brown fumble.
Yep.
And then they came down and they fumbled, didn't they? They fumbled.
That was the end of the half. They elected
but
not to
they
do
elected
anything.
not to use their timeouts.
Right, but when the guy ran down, remember the tight end caught the screen and ran down, where was that at?
Oh, that was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
We'll get to
that was third quarter.
That was the play of the game.
That was the play of the game. They got a fumble, and you knew right then game was over. But at halftime, you can tell that Coach McCarthy said, hey, young man, hey, Kellum, until Dak find his true rhythm, let's kind of be a little bit more balanced. And he did it.
And you know what?
He won the game.
And Dak said, he goes, I was throwing the ball with a little too much confidence in that first half.
Right.
Because he took some shots down the field that probably weren't necessary. And even a couple he completed, you were like, ooh.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb came up big.
And then the one to Schultz down to half.
Yes.
That was he threw in the – but see, you knew that was going to happen with him. He hadn't played in a game. He hadn't played in a game that speeds up. It ain't practice. Right?
Yeah, and I agree with you, Mick.
And you got to see the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you come back, see, if y'all will let me – this is what I keep preaching to everybody that want to listen, that wants some football knowledge. Elite is not armed talent. See, that's part of elite. Elite is watching the game, understanding the game. The guys we named earlier, all of them either had someone helping them or had mastered the game to what they knew the rhythm of the game, how it was being played, who they're playing against. Do we really need to push this here, or do we stay? See, Dak, if he had been playing, he would have saw, I don't need to push this. They can't beat us. Our defense is too great. Let me make sure I just get this ball to who need to have the ball. And now, this is what I'm hoping from this point on, him and Coach Kellum say, hey, man, this is what we need to do. This team Chicago cannot beat us. Jimmy will gather us up at the beginning of the week, and he will gather us up on Friday, and he will gather us up right before the game. Fellas, remember what I told you Monday? Mm-hmm. This team can't beat us. Don't make mistakes.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Mistakes.
And that was they let Detroit make the mistake.
There you go.
And Detroit made them, and we'll get into the Micah play, whatever. But to your point on McCarthy changing his mind, calling the timeout, changing his mind, and going ahead and kicking the field goal rather than going forward on 4th and 2. If the Cowboys don't make it on that 4th and 2, that is the equivalent of what the Lions did by fumbling at the 1 yard line in the third quarter of that game. And I had this conversation with McCarthy after we taped his coach's show on Thursday. Mm-hmm. If you went back and looked at the Lions game against New England,
yes, sir.
They got into field goal territory 5 times in that game. Okay, they lost the game 29-0. They went for it on 4th and 1. I can't remember exactly how many times, but it was 3 or 4 times they went for it, and they threw a pick down at the 3 yard line one time. On a 4th down play, they went for it. They were in field goal range. Okay, they could have kicked a 50-yard field goal like the Cowboys did yesterday. Instead, they opted, or what the Lions did yesterday. Instead, they went for it. Quarterback got sacked, fumbled. It was returned 59 yards for a touchdown. It turned into a 29-0 game. I went back and looked at that game. If the Lions had just kicked field goals every time they got into field goal range, it would have been a 19-15 game with 2 minutes left in the game. And so McCarthy yesterday, he gets down there 4th and 2. He knows his team is better than this team he's playing against. And by the way, New England was starting a rookie quarterback, starting his first NFL game that day. All right. McCarthy gets down there and he realizes, hey, it's not worth the risk of not making it. Just take your points. You're going to win this game as long as you don't give them opportunities to and turn the ball over. When essentially that is a turnover when you miss on a 4th down conversion like that.
Well, I'll guarantee you what he did was when it was third and 2 at the 3, and I'm sure he told Kellen, okay, you got 2 plays to score.
There you go.
And when you get stuffed on 3rd and 2. And now it's
still 4th and 2.
4th and 2. It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
And you could see, I was watching McCarthy. He, when they make the decision to keep the offense on the field at that point, all right, he's not sure where they're going to spot it exactly. And then he sees where they spot it and sees it's 4th and 2.
And I'm about analytics. If I have a greater, not a better team. If I'm Kansas City, if this Kansas City, come on, man, do what you want to do. Because I have a greater team than yours, not just a better team, a greater team.
And the analytics don't analyze that part of it.
Right. So if I got a greater team, I'm going to play a little bit of the analytics early in the game. But we came off of a loss. Our offensive line had showed to be struggling. This is a great call by Coach McCarthy.
Well, and the call sheet on a 4th and 2 play is different than the call sheet on a 4th and 1 play.
Yes.
And so and they probably had a pass play planned on 4th and 2. And the chances, 4th and a foot, okay.
Yeah.
Front load left, and you get it all the time, right?
And here's what they had planned on that play too. They had 2 tight ends and 2 running backs in, and they tried that play later, and it didn't work.
Right.
Where they were going to pitch to Pollard with Zeke, and so that's what they were getting ready to do there. And it's like, okay, let's just 3-3's okay. With still 12 minutes to go in the second quarter.
All right, when we come back, it's the other play we speak of. It's the play of the day when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, and that's kpostcompany.com.
All right. Nate Newton is sitting in for Everson Walls as Everson is on assignment or something like that.
I think that sounds really good.
I can't remember where Everson said he was going to be today, but he told us in advance he couldn't be here today. All right.
And one of us remembered.
That's right. And then I told Mickey. All right. So, play of the day. First off, in my mind, there were two plays of the day yesterday. The first one came with the Cowboys up 10-6 in the third quarter, facing a 3rd and 2 at the Detroit 33-yard line. And Aiden Hutchinson for the Lions put a spin move on Terrence Steele and sacked Dak Prescott, putting the Cowboys it made it a 4th and 9. It was a 7-yard sack. But not only put them out of position to go for it on 4th down if they wanted to, but also took them out of field goal range. Okay, 10-6 game. If the Cowboys convert there, whether they get the first down or kick a field goal, the game is pretty much going to be over at that point.
Which, by the way, and that all was set up, which would have been the third play of the game, was a 62 or 52-yard
punt return by Kevontae Turpin. That's right.
If he didn't have to sidestep the punter, he's gone, right? Because he stepped right back into where that guy was.
Okay, so Hutchins and Cowboys have the momentum. All right, after that, and what happened at the beginning of the third quarter. All right. Hutchinson makes that play, and now the Lions have new life. And what do the Lions do right after that? They go down the field, and it's kind of the same type of offensive series that, Nate, you're talking about that the Cowboys got back to start the second half. A lot of it was running the football. They overcame 2 holding calls on that penalty to get on that series to get down to a 2nd and 5 at the 18-yard line. They dump a screen pass off to Brock Wright, their second tight end, and Micah Parsons makes the play that I will remember from this game. We won't remember this game against the Lions down the road, but there is one play we will remember, and it's Micah Parsons running him down at the goal line.
So it's 2nd and 5 at the 18. And so when I went back and analyzed the play, they were in 2 tight end formation to their left. The Cowboys had 3 linebackers in. They had their 4 down and Micah Parsons down to the right with Leighton Vander Esch and Barr. And I'm sure in Parsons' mind, he just smoked the tackle, right? Well, little be known, the guy let him go because they were setting up a screen, right? And sure enough, when he was bearing down on Goff, he realized, oh, wait a minute. They're fooling me because this is too easy. He stopped at the 26-yard line, right? And when Goff threw to Wright was at the 21. So he's got a 5-yard head start on him, right? And he's running. Parsons got a spin from a dead stop to start running. And then I kind of fouled the play, and when Wright got to the 13-yard line, Parsons was at the 18. And then it was almost like he hit the booster rocket. And by time Wright got to the 4, Parsons was at the 5 and drags him down at the 1-yard line. Unbelievable play. And he talked about how Quinn sat him down last week and said, hey, look, you got to remember, you got to use your speed out there.
No, he said you got to use your superpower.
And then he said your superpower, right, which is your speed. And golly, what a play. He could have easily given up on that. He was so far behind the play. And everybody else was getting blocked because not only did they have Hawkinson out there blocking, but 2 other offensive linemen clearing the way. He's gone. It's a touchdown. And he drags them down at the 1-yard line. Unbelievable play.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm just going to be honest. It's about 4 guys need to be docked I'm saying you need to be
You're watching Micah. Nate's watching others.
Loaf. Because we did that on a highlight show last night. I say, fellas, you can't sit on, but he ran past 3 people. I mean, when he hit them jets, he instantly went past 3 people. And I'm saying to myself, but I guess they know their speed.
They weren't fast enough.
They weren't fast. The dude was going sideways. That's the only thing if he was going straight, if he could have went straight, Michael wouldn't have had a shot.
Right.
But when he turned sideways and started easing down to the left side off the blocks, Michael I got this dude. And man, that was beautiful. That was every high school, college, Pop Warner coach. This is the effort we need, and turn that film on. Mm-hmm. This is the effort we need.
And then it became after the game, and we'll get to why the play was so important. But Dan Campbell was getting asked why he didn't challenge that it was a touchdown. And Campbell said, well, I didn't have a really good angle to see it. I was waiting to get called down from the coach's box. And he said the call never came. And when they showed the replay from the pylon cam, you can see Wright's knee hitting the ground, and it was a beautiful shot, and the ball had not broken. It was close, and I'll guarantee it was closer than where they spotted the ball. Yep. It should have been like a foot from the goal line.
Right.
But they spotted it at the 1. But the pylon cam showed his knee down, and he did not score. And they were challenging Campbell on it. And, he was kind of, well, yeah, maybe I should have. And Wright thought he scored. And you know what Parson said? He goes, I thought he scored. I thought they were lining up for a 2-point conversion.
I used to be very, very critical of coaches and their coaching staffs. And I really did. But a lot of people can't even handle their own daily lives. Now they want a bang-bang play, a bang-bang situation. It favored the Cowboys, so, just like the turbo play last week, we all on coach. You know what? Them ups and downs happen. That's why you go out and get players to try to Band-Aid your mistakes, and then in turn, you once in a while Band-Aid the players' mistakes. You know what I'm saying? With a great coaching call.
And in fairness, they're at the 1-yard line. They got the second-ranked offense in the league. He got 4 plays to go 36 inches. So he's probably thinking, okay, it's at the 1. Let's just go get it.
I tell you what, Mickey, that sounds good, but you also got to think, that's the number 1 ranked defense with that bull over there.
That's right.
Yeah. To me, I wanted us to win. And I knew how we were supposed to win. And even though we won the way we all thought we were going to win, you're still like, wow, that was ugly.
No.
Yeah.
I wrote my column, and my first word was woo.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Wow. Kind of a sigh of relief, because this certainly wasn't an 18-point game, right?
Yes.
You're sitting there kneeling, and basically I wrote, Dak knelt down at the end. Mm-hmm. Well, everybody else should have taken a knee and gave thanks.
That's right. Yeah. The whole stadium, huh?
Right?
Hey, can we get a moment of silent prayer?
And so then that play follows with Williams going up he fell kind of weird. Did you see how it was awkward? He hit the pile and went straight down like this. And the ball came out. They gave the strip to Lawrence. I don't know if anybody could actually see it or not. And it trickles right to Barr. What are the chances?
Well, good things happen when you make a play like Micah did on the previous.
Maybe that's it, right?
You just keep playing hard. I mean, you just keep playing hard. And
again, if the Lions score a touchdown on that possession, they're ahead 13-10,
yes.
and the rest of the game plays out entirely differently.
Yes, this is what I'm gonna keep reminding people. You are in 3rd place, and the teams that are ahead of you does have the ability to beat you in head-to-head competition. These ain't teams that, we'll catch them in the end. These are teams that has the ability and the player. Jones, I don't like the coach from New York. He's making his kid good. You know what I'm saying? He's making his kid Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him.
I don't know why they hired him.
Yeah, he's too good.
What are they doing in New York? Hire that guy. We don't need that.
Wow, we're in third place, fellas.
And and here was another saving grace. Even after they got the fumble, they didn't go anywhere. And on 4th and 1 at their own 29, Anger hits it must have been a 50-yard punt. They got fair caught at the 20-yard line. That was unbelievable. That he basically reversed.
That kid has.
He reversed the field, and then that led to Lewis's
interception.
Fateful interception.
Because he didn't get hit. He must have fallen and hit his foot.
No, if you see it, it's a player jammed his foot in the ground.
He did.
Just when he caught a player jammed his foot in the ground. While he was
laying on his stomach?
As he was catching it. Go back and look. As he was catching it and he was getting ready to fall, that player just in a split second ran across his foot. That was a freaky accident.
And that Liz Frank injury, I mean, it was serious enough. They did surgery yesterday.
Yeah, last night. I know. I've always my only knock has been on J. Lou. My only ever knock is J. Lou will sometimes get to saying, I can make this play, and he'll jump something, and it'll hurt him. As a slot receiver, you can play Russian roulette, but you got to play the percentages if it's in the percentages in Russian roulette.
I mean, it was a hell of a play.
Yeah.
And a great catch, diving like that. So now, Deron Bland, let's go. And, it's a good thing they got this kid some experience earlier in the season.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Bill. Mick. What's happened to the fat kid, the rapper? I mean, what?
Calvin Joseph?
Yeah, what has happened?
Well, we'll see what they think of him. If they trust him, then they can put him at corner and put
Anthony
Brown in the slot, that's where he's played before.
See, now it may be a different decision than what it was for a one-game decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Kelvin Joseph on special teams, he's got his role there, and you don't want to take him off that if he's playing full-time.
He's second-round pick, Bill. I can't agree.
No. But for one game.
Right.
We're talking where it was Deron Bland, it was right before kickoff they found. And they had to make that decision on game day.
Right.
Deron, you're playing.
Right.
Okay, and so now you're adjusting everything, okay? Now Lewis is out for the season.
Right, okay.
So now, okay, you make plans starting today whether or not is Kelvin Joseph the guy or is Deron Bland. And to your point, okay, Kelvin Joseph being a second-round pick, you would think he is the guy.
But do you you trust him?
And see, that's what I'm saying.
That all goes into it,
If the first guy I took off the bench is Bland, well, that's the first guy I'm going to give a shot at it. It's just –
I mean, that is the one thing where I could see where they could decide they in their own mind. They may even have Kelvin listed above it, and that spur of the moment decision because that was the roles laid out for them on that day.
Yes.
Against that, what game was that? Who was the opponent?
When Lewis showed up hurt for the game, he got hurt on Saturday.
I can find
was it
right here
in warm-ups or Saturday?
It was the warm-ups. It was right before the game. Let me see which game did he miss. I got it listed right here. It was the Washington game. All right, so you're playing Washington. It was a groin injury in pregame. So Washington's offense, okay, you may not make that.
Right.
And you haven't prepared Kelvin for that role coming into that game necessarily.
But see, Bill, what I'm saying.
But now we're talking long term.
Right.
So is Kelvin Joseph your second round pick or is he not?
Well, he may be, but if he's not good enough to do it,
you go with the best player.
Right now, I trust Bland in there.
But see, that's what I'm saying is.
We do, but we haven't been at practice every day to see
what
and meetings and stuff.
Whoa.
So
any other ref 54 would have got a penalty.
You just watched him spike the guy.
I'm glad that guy put his elbow down.
All right, we'll talk.
It's a good thing he wasn't a quarterback.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk Sam Williams and more when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere Zero Turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Mick Shots.
Live music fans, head to the Star in Frisco on Wednesday, October 26th for a brand new monthly concert series, Sounds of the Star, featuring the spectacular Southern Soul Band, Prophets and Outlaws. The concert kicks off at 7 p.m. and is free and open to the public. For more info, visit thestarinfrisco.com.
Okay, let's before we get into Sam Williams, let's one thing about Micah. Okay, you know, in baseball, I know there were some baseball players who they actually had the number to the press box. They had it memorized, the number to the press box, because there would be times where they would get a hit in a game and it would be scored by the official scorer who sits in the press box as an error. And they would get back to the dugout and they would call the press box and lobby to the official scorer or yell at the official scorer that that's a hit, not an error. And so that should count as a hit on my stats.
You want to
All right.
talk to somebody that lived that experience?
Oh, really? You lived
Double A?
Yeah. I didn't know you played Double A baseball.
No. The Jackson
You were the official scorer.
I was covering the team, and I was the official scorer. And when I would give one of the guys on the Mets, he hit the ball, and I'd give him an error, I'd get the dirtiest looks up there. And one day before the game, when they were in batting practice and I was standing on the sideline, the catcher came up to me, and he goes, you know, these guys are trying to get to AAA, and a lot of that has to do with stats. And he goes, when you give them an error instead of a hit, that hurts their stats in moving up. Mm-hmm. He goes, so you better think twice about that.
You're taking money out of their pockets.
And I marched right to the GM and I said, I resign.
Yeah. Okay. So I bring that up because
don't test
Micah,
his integrity.
That's right.
I asked Micah after the game, can you appeal the stat where he did not get the credit for the sack? Dorrance Armstrong got credit for the sack, which would have given him 2 sacks in the game.
Yeah, he had the guy's ankle.
He got him.
Right?
Yeah, he's the reason the quarterback went down was because of Micah.
They can appeal that.
Oh, that's what I'm asking. I asked him. I asked Micah, can you appeal that? And he didn't really answer.
The PR staff.
He's mad about it, though.
The PR staff can send that into the NFL and say, hey, this should have been a sack, or this should have been this guy's sack.
Yeah.
They have the ability to do that.
Okay, but Dorrance Armstrong right now has matched his career high. He's got 6 sacks in 7 games.
More than...
Oh, man, you know, I just remember this kid.
He's going to have more than Randy Gregory ever had.
I just remember this kid coming out of Kansas. And the people that that drafted him knew what to do. Come on, Coach. Y'all drafted him and you knew what to do and didn't give him the opportunities. I used to sit over there and argue about it, but I like to give the coaches, hey, maybe they are seeing something or knowing something that I don't know.
Because they had the toy over there, Randy Gregory.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you what, the toy in Denver, man, they should have brought our crew, whatever was helping him, to Denver, paid the package.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Well, he's on IR now.
When you have a kid, and I can use myself, when you have a kid that's kind of challenged on the outside world, everything is controlled in here. But when you get on the outside world and you kind of challenged and you put people and things in place to help settle you, if you're going to sign this kid, NFL, get the whole package and transfer it. Don't just take the player, because it's a package come with this player.
I wonder if they knew that.
Yeah, they knew, but they didn't want to pay for the package. The package got to go. Yeah.
All right, which brings us to Sam Williams. And Sam got the first 2 sacks of his NFL career in yesterday's game. He also had a body slam that wasn't penalized. And, that's the thing, kind of to your point on, Dorrance Armstrong not getting opportunities. That's the other thing this defensive coaching staff does. There are opportunities for all these guys as far as rushing the passer.
I had the perception that he played more snaps than he did. I thought he was out. Every time I seemed to look up on the left defensive end in passing situations, he was out there, right? Well, he only played 14 snaps. In 14 snaps, he has 3 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, 2 quarterback hits, and then the forced fumble recovered on his own on that 1 sack. He had the triple play there. That's unbelievable.
And so the Lions had, 58 snaps in the game or something like that? Something like that. So
56, yeah.
So if he had played, he played 14.
Yeah.
So essentially, times 4. He would, if he would have played all 56 snaps, he would have had 8 sacks in the game.
No, he wouldn't. The averages just don't work that way. That's a good thing about analytics. Never work that way. I'm telling you, it just don't work. Because after that second one, and the game still would have been played, they're like, "Hey, this dude needs some help."
Well, that was a heck of a performance, and I phrased my question probably not wrongly to Mike afterwards. I said it seemed like, Williams got more snaps, and what did you think of what he did with them? And he kind of looked at me, and then was like, oh, he didn't have more, because he usually gets 10 to 12. Mm-hmm. So he got 14, right? And then he said, no, I was real proud of him. He goes, that was an amazing performance by him. And maybe you're right. Smaller, better, right? You get
because
too many, and you're not as productive.
When you're not used to playing against a freak, as an offensive lineman, the scariest thing in the world was when you go to punch a guy and he's able to dip down below your punch, and when you do get your hands on him, it's in the middle of his back and you projecting him into your quarterback. That's scary, because no matter what you say, guys can't move their hips. That is kind of a locked-in thing. But if you have the ability to bend your hips with your knees at the same time, that is a freakish thing. And so,
and you know what?
That's scary.
He's got that mindset that I'm going to get there however I need to get there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's got a little Haley in him. Not saying from an athletic standpoint,
right.
But Haley, I think people were afraid of Haley because they didn't know what he was going to do to beat him.
Right.
And he would do whatever
it took to get him.
Right?
Yeah.
And when training camp was over and we got back here, I used to watch Haley walk out with Sam Williams to practice way before everybody would get out there. And they would go back there and do something. And, most guys just kind of blow off Charles. It's like, okay, right. Yeah. This kid would listen to him. And I said, oh, he might be dangerous.
Yeah.
How good is it for Sam that he's got Micah here, who's been here a year?
Don't stop there. Don't stop there.
Yeah.
How good is it for this kid to have Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong,
Dante Fowler.
When by the time he gets in, and he's a greater athlete than all except Michael. He's a greater athlete than all except Micah. So what do you do as an offensive lineman? When you done batted all these guys and battled all these guys, and here go to one of the most freakish ones, like you say, will do anything to get to the quarterback.
And to accentuate your point, after the game, and I'm up in the press box and I'm writing, I look down on the field, and this had to be a good hour after the game, and I saw these guys in these white warm-up suits.
Right.
And I get my binoculars, I look down there, and it's like, well, that's Sam Williams. And I was like, who's this other guy? Well, it was DeMarcus Lawrence. And they were both dressed the same. And I think DeMarcus had his wife down there and maybe one or two of the kids, and then there was another kid, and I'm assuming it was Sam's son.
Right.
And they were all down there together. And I said, okay, somebody's looking after this guy. And it was DeMarcus Lawrence.
I just think that if we and see, this is what I love about this game. We won it. Dak got through it. The next game will be much better.
And they can get better.
Yeah. So like you said, Mickey, at the beginning of the show, by time of 10th, 11th game, we should be at that 27 points a game mark without the help of the defense. I mean, as far as them getting a pick six, we need your short fields. We'll take them anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to rely on your defense as long as the defense is there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And what was still stinging was the drive against Philadelphia's drive that took them 75 yards, 13 plays to seal the game. And Micah talked about it on Thursday. He said it still stung, and that's when he brought up the shark thing.
Shark Week.
And then he reminded everybody it was Shark Week, even though it wasn't Shark Week. It was their Shark Week. Right?
Any week Micah says is Shark Week is Shark Week.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you have a homework assignment tonight.
Uh-oh. What do I got?
You got the Chicago Bears playing at New England tonight on Monday Night Football.
And they come here on a short week.
That's right. Yeah.
Can you watch it?
Just like I said, it's Christmas time in October, and we got our first gift on the door. If you can go CVS pharmacy or Walmart, I mean,
there's Christmas lights up all over the place already.
Man, with the right tonic, the right portions, the right gifts. I mean, thank you, Sandy. Thank you, because we just been to line up and get these guys. Green Bay will be a little. Okay.
Well.
Coming after the bye week.
I got
after that win.
Cowboy fan that emails me, and he didn't think they'd win 5 games after they lost to Tampa Bay. And I said, just settle down.
Has he emailed you lately?
Yes, he did today. And he goes, I bow down because I told him, just settle down. And then he said, how many wins do you think it's going to take to win the East? And so I started looking, and I said, guess what? The Eagles only have 4 games left with teams with winning records right now. 2 of those games are the Giants, one's the Cowboys in Tennessee. Then I looked at the Cowboys. They only got 4 games left against teams with winning records. It's the Eagles, the Giants, Tennessee, and Minnesota. The rest of them, including Green Bay, do not have a winning record.
I just, if we play well, and like I say, Dak gonna only get better because he's gonna look at film and he's gonna be like, you know what, this is what can help my team win. So these are the passes that I'm gonna make sure get there.
Yeah,
and these are the ones I'm gonna take away.
I don't need to be thrown in the double coverage.
Yeah, I mean it happens sometimes.
Yeah,
when you have zone coverage, it happens sometimes. So, but. And I hate to say this because it'll come back to home. It's good when you're a quarterback and don't have to play perfect. Just don't play him. Don't play the bad game. You don't have to play the perfect game, but just don't play the bad game.
He was nearly perfect the second half.
Yes.
All right. That does it for this edition of Mick
Thank
Shots.
you, Everson.
I don't think Everson's here tomorrow either.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate.
Well, if Everson's not here, I'll try to come in. If I get over here early, I'll try to come in because I'll be studying for after Chicago's and whooping, and then we put a worse whooping on them the next week. So
you don't have the Bears winning tonight.
You know what? The Bears don't know who they are. And teams that don't know who they are and have no direction, and I ain't saying the coach not giving them direction, but you don't know who your quarterback is. Your defense ain't nowhere near what it was a year ago. So
well, as long as they're not wearing
I say one thing?
Orange uniforms again.
Cavante Turpin, your day is coming where we will spend a whole segment instead of 10 seconds.
Tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk at you again tomorrow at noon on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!